this way. I would say, Brianna, in some sense, you're kind of directionally right in some of this stuff, but let's try it this way. First, as Emily pointed out, no one's talking about bringing down Medicaid.
What's going on, you guys? We have Dave Rubin getting slammed by Brianna Joy Gray. Dave Rubin is grifting about Trump's economic plan. Brianna Joy, puts him in his place. Let's get into it.
Saving taxpayer dollars. That's when he did his deep dive into USAID to see our money is going to garbage. And now you're questioning, well, what is Elon doing? He's going to go group by group, piece by piece, and start tackling all the waste and fraud. So the fact that you haven't seen the full scope of it yet is only because we're just getting started with this.
Right, and Brianna, I would say that what is clear is that the American people on this issue, on Doge, and the waste that's being exposed, they are in a big majority right behind the administration. So there are other polls that show them not as confident about other things, but on Doge, that seems to be a very popular thing.
I'm really glad my co-panelist pointed out that Social Security is next. And polls show that Republican voters also are overwhelmingly opposed to cuts to Social Security. The majority of Americans rely on Social Security to keep their elderly parents and relatives and loved ones from living on the street. And not to mention Medicaid, Medicare. These are some of the most popular policies in America that even Trump understands it's bad politics to put them on the chopping block. And that's why he ran away from those policies in the Bartolomeo Fox News interview just this week. But the reality is that that's exactly what he's going for. And the numbers that have been articulated by the Trump administration and Elon Musk for what he anticipates in terms of budget cuts cannot happen without significant cuts to programs exactly like Social Security. And this is why the earlier point that was made about millionaires and billionaires. I'm sorry, if I could just finish this point without interruption. This is why the earlier point about millionaires and billionaires who are running this government and why it is that we should be concerned about it is so germane. There was a 2014 Princeton study that showed that there is no relationship between what Americans want, what voters articulate in polls, and what actually gets passed in Congress, whether it's a Democratic Congress or a Republican Congress. And the reason is because oligarchs, billionaires have captured our government through lobbyists. There was a question asked on Fox News recently, why is Northern Virginia the most affluent place in America? And the implication was that it was because of government spending on government programs, when the reality is it's because that's where the lobbyists live. And that's where all of our government money is going. The instinct to want to look at where our tax dollars are being misdirected is the right one. But should we be skeptical of the fact that the literal richest person in the world and the number 2 and the number 3 and the number 4 are standing there telling you that the problem is the programs that are keeping...
Right, you're going to have, I believe her name is Emily Austin. You're going to have Dave Rubin saying, oh, they're cutting the waste. They're cutting the waste. Waste, as far as, we're concerned, might be a lot different than waste as compared to billionaires who, they believe in this idea that, they can pull themselves up, that anyone can just pull themselves up by their bootstraps, because they come from a lifestyle to where they've been able to, grow themselves up to be either they've had the right opportunities, the right amount of luck, anything that goes into it. And now they believe that everyone else can do just exactly what they're doing, when in reality, it just so happens that, people come from different places. People suffer a different amount. People have a lot more unfortunate lifestyles that they're born into. And it's not possible. It's just plainly not possible. So the idea of waste and, we're going to cut this program because, I wouldn't have needed that coming up. It's a lot different. It's a lot different than for the normal person.
Your elderly loved ones sustained and not the military spending. The Pentagon budget is 3 times the budget of the Department of Education. Our military spending is more than the next 10 military spending of the next 10 countries beneath us combined. Elon Musk is a defense contractor himself, and that is why you're not going to see him talking about cuts to people like him who personally have hundreds of millions of dollars worth of wealth that they've gotten through government contracts. No, they want to throw your grandmother out of the hospital and your family members onto the street.
Okay, Dave, they want to throw your family into the street.
It's so boring and it's so thin. Yes, Elon's doing all of this to make more money. He was like, yes, I really need another yacht. I don't even know that he has a yacht. He doesn't. You're the guy who walks around in old ratty T-shirts. That's number one. Number two, let's try it this way. I would say, Brianna, in some sense, you're kind of directionally right in some of this stuff, but let's try it this way. First, as Emily pointed out, No one's talking about bringing down Medicaid and taking out these programs. They're talking about getting the waste and fraud out, which it is obvious. There are 150-year-olds that are getting benefits, 300-year-olds getting benefits.
Let's
not
get
true. The waste and
and
fraud
you have to rely on lies like that to manufacture consent to cut a popular policy. That's a patent lie.
But no one's saying cut the policy. They're saying get the waste out of the policy.
David,
but let's try it a different way.
David,
I would be for lowering taxes on everybody. I would be for lowering taxes on absolutely everybody, so the government has less money to waste and spend on nonsensical things. I want you to keep more of your money. Do you want me to keep more of my money?
No, because you're a millionaire, Dave Rubin. I don't think you should keep more of your money, and that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing.
So you want to take more money?
David, you worked that make you. Now you have to take your money to
wait a minute.
What right do you have to take my money? And do what you want
I hate to break it to the panel, but poor people work hard too. Wait a minute. I hate to break it to the panel,
and they should pay less taxes too. I want everyone to pay less taxes.
They've been working just as hard as they've been working since the middle part of the last century.
This is why the left is
They've been working as hard as they've been working. I think it's really fascinating that if someone sticks.
And here we have Dave Rubin attempt to do a gotcha where he's going to say, oh, you know, the left thinks that jealousy is a virtue. You could also, you know, spin that completely the other 180 way and say, you know, the conservatives think that greed is a virtue. They think that being more greedy and that, you know, if you are a diehard conservative and you believe that, you know, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to put more money into businesses and the businesses will give people more jobs and, you know, that it'll just the trickle down theory from there. Then you really are just allowing these corporations to benefit more and more because they don't care about the working class people. They're not going to just give us more jobs, as we can see that Tesla does the H-1B program. They're not just giving it to Americans. They're trying to find the ones that are, you know, as far as the lowest that will pay, that they can pay. They're not trying to pay the American people. These corporations do not. I don't know if you don't believe me. Go into corporate America and see it for yourself, that they will try to undercut you and, you know, cut the dollar off. If they give you a good job, that's great, you know, and then they'll fire you 2 years later whenever they can replace you. It's not that simple. You know, it's really not that simple.
Except for working people in this country, they're called a communist.
I want working people to have more of their money.
You want Dave Rubin to give up more of his money.
And how there was a chicken in every pot, and how Americans were so much happier in the 1950s. Well, in the 1950s, the top marginal tax rate was 90% on the top richest voters. That is how you end up getting a country and a social safety net where we have parks and swimming pools and schools and museums and safety and libraries and the kind of country that we remembered were on one family income you could support.
But how much of my money do you need? How much of Piers' money? I know he's not fully an American, but he's probably got more money than me. How much of Piers' money do you want?
The question shouldn't be whether or not.
Joe's probably doing okay. You could probably get some of his cash.
How much do you need? I'm telling you, David, that there are poor and immiserated people in this country who signed up to vote for Donald Trump because they believe that he is right, and I believe he is right, about trade policies like NAFTA being unfavorable to the American worker. He is right about that sort of thing. And frankly, Bernie Sanders running on those policies back in 2016 and 2020 is why a lot of people, independent voters, were attracted to him. And he was the #1 candidate with independent voters. And Democrats killing his campaign is exactly why they have the Trump phenomenon right now. But those kinds of policies,
how much more money do you need to get to your utopia? How much? If we took all of Elon's money and all of Bezos' money and all of Piers' money, how much? What do we need?
Canning the economy, intentionally cratering the economy, driving, like what happened in Argentina, where 50% of the population was driven into poverty, saying that that's going to be some tough times that people are going to have to endure, when that's endurance that's squarely put on the shoulders of poor and working class people in the country, is a tragedy.
Are you arguing that the economy of Argentina is not booming right now after 5 years of disaster?
Booming for whom? Throwing 50% of your population into poverty and having authoritarian crackdowns on speech and protest to prevent people from articulating their democratic right to rise up. That's exactly what's happening here in America as well. And people should be very afraid.
Yeah, Joe.
Pierce, I'll make one political point. there's a reason why my former.
There we have it, you guys. We have Brianna Joy Gray taking on, it appears to be, 3 people who want nothing to do with the, average American, the average person. They don't talk to the average person, and if they do, they're selling them a dream about the celebrity culture, about how, Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they're all looking out. These are the heroes that we should be championing. Like, we should be worshiping these people. We should be just happy that we're on the same earth as these people. They're literally saving America. And yeah, it's really easy to believe that whenever you don't have anything else going for you, and whenever you don't have anything else, whenever you actually see that these people aren't caring about us, whenever you don't have people in your family that you can care about and see how they're being affected, see how we're all being affected as a whole, where it becomes a class system to where we are literally at the bottom of the bottom. If you have family, if you have people that you are actually in touch with, and you're not just sitting at home watching Fox News all day, you will be able to see that we're all suffering. This is all a hard time. And you can't even attempt to help your own community out. It's just not working. With the different aids that are getting cut by the community, all these civil, duties that are getting sort of wiped underneath the rug. It's almost impossible to do it while you have people that are getting richer and richer and richer as this country is falling apart. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.